Welcome to 26, and guess what just happened? Terminal died. If you're running AI coding agents in standard terminals right now, you're building on sand. I'm not being dramatic here, and I think this is what I found out over the last few days. In 26, with agent teams, with codecs, you can't just be in a terminal. You need something called TMUX, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Today in 26, AI builds in about 45 minutes. Your agent's refactoring, doing work, hiccups, and it's going back and forth talking. And we're using a tool from the 2000s in terminal. It's now the single most important piece of your architecture. And I'll show you exactly why TMUX matters. So in 23 and 24, we interacted with AI very synchronously. Prompt, response, simple conversation. That doesn't exist anymore in 25 in 26. We've moved to something fundamentally different. We're not asking chatbots questions. We're assigning agents jobs, tasks, completions, working in between each other. Their reason, they write code, they compile, they hit networks, they self-correct, they loop, sometimes for 45 minutes at a stretch, without us touching anything. Here's the insight that's changed a lot of this. Swarms don't need a conversational window. They need an operating environment. We're leaving the age of single prompt and entering the age of long running builds. And that means infrastructure that can support it. So, volatility, right? That's the limited liability that we have today. On the left here, you can see standard terminal setup. Your laptop's connected, remote server, maybe a VM, your agent's running. It's doing its thing, right? Then the network drops. Maybe 2 seconds. Doesn't matter. SSH connection's gone. Process that you tied your terminal to, dead. Context gone. Everything you've done in the last 30 minutes, good old context rot. And process death is just gone. Now look at the right side over here, right? TMUX architecture. And that changes everything up. Same setup, but with TMUX, the layer sitting between your terminal and your processes. With the same network blip, TMUX doesn't care. The servers keep running, the agents keep working, you reconnect, reattach, and keep moving forward. In 26, where we're building AI agents that take 45 minutes of autonomous reasoning, can't afford to lose that because of a blip in the network. Standard shells are over. Terminal is dead and are bound to be just part of our history. So what does that lead us to? It's decoupling interactions from execution. Let me explain what that architecture is, because this is where it clicks. And this is what I really didn't come across until I started doing Claude Code agents this week, right? TMUX is a client server model with 4 layers. You can see the daemon process running your machine. It manages everything inside your server. It creates sessions. Think of these as named project environments. Inside each session, you have windows, individual pseudo terminals where you have actual commands run. The key mental model is this: the client is merely a portal, the server is the engine. When you detach from a TMUX session, you're not quitting. You're just stepping out of the room while the engine keeps running. Your agents, your builds, your logs are all still going. You're just not looking at them. This is the client server's decoupling applied to your terminal. And if you spent any time designing distributed systems, you know what's going on with this pattern. So as we go into the war room configuration and we take a thought about this, right? Um, this is where it gets interesting. This is the layout, right? You can have TMUX across 3 windows, 5 windows, or I currently have it in 7 windows. On the left, you have your lead agent, that's Claude or whatever agent you're running. It's the task list, analyzing repos, refactoring. On the right side, split in between 2 panes, 25 each. You got your teammates, 1 and 2, A and B, 1 and 2. Test runners reporting results, the lead agents delegating work, the teammates executing parallel. It's a war room configuration, right? Or orchestrator pattern, and it's enabling something really powerful, and it allows each other agents to now challenge each other, challenge their hypothesis. One agent can refactor based on another agent's output. for using Claude Code, this layout is actively set up by using agent teams and settings JSON. So this is where the power comes in, and this is where the change really starts. Is that terminal, one session, one view, go back and forth. Now I can view all of my agents that I'm spinning up, all that are working fairly independently, but talking to each other and see what's going on. I am the orchestrator. I am the editor. I'm able to see what's going on. And this is really the power of what you're getting with TMUX that you couldn't get before. So if you're to think about it, the control room, right, as you're looking through it, uh, you're able to quickly understand that with AI agents, there's going to be failures. There's going to be things that go wrong. And I need to get to that agent. If agent 4 is failing and 5 is okay, I need to talk to them directly. Starts hallucinating. In a standard terminal, I'm stuck. What am I going to do? I can't do anything. With TMUX, Control B, then Z, zoom command. You zoom into that one pane. You go right to the full screens, and you read every line the agent's outputting. Type corrections, stop, route, Claude, question. You're in control mid-turn, human in the loop. You're not waiting for it to finish. You actively monitor the situation. And this is the power of what you're getting with TMUX. Next, you've got surviving the process spawn, right? I think Codex is a good example of this kind of concept, right? In the real world of war stories going on there, um, if you tendency to trigger an infinite loop, um, Rip Gip, is a good, grip is a good example. They're searching code bases, searching. Before you know it, they've got dozens of RG exes running. Your entire system is frozen, right? Without TMUX, that's a hard reboot, right? Press the little button, maybe you're there. You're killing terminals, maybe you can force it. With TMUX, you isolated that blast radius. Each agent runs in their own pane. If one pane goes haywire, you just control B, X, kill it, move on, start over. This is the power of the multi-tiered architecture and why TMUX is so important for our next generation. So as you kind of think about it, right? A lot of us already have TMUX installed today. If not, here's how you get it installed, right? Brew, sudo, make, right? It's pretty fast. Obviously, don't use WSL1 if you're in Windows. I don't think you'd be doing Cloud Code in WSL1, right? WSL2 is really the only direction forward. It's pretty easy to set up. Now, with simplicity comes complexity, unfortunately. And this is where it is a new language you have to learn. And I'll put in the description below some of the keywords that you want to use. But you have to spend some time getting used to this new environment. It's a utility. Configured, it's a lethal weapon. But you have to learn how to configure it, right? You can create your own config files where you customize everything. Um, you know, block one, interaction, set, -G mouse on, turns your mouse support on so you can click between panels. -G history file creates a history file. It's recording. It's, I like this one, right? Because you think of a history file as really that black box recorder. It achieves it archives everything it's done, right? Didn't do something hours ago, right? And this is going to be part of our whole new concept of observability patterns that we really haven't had today. And I think this is going to be that interesting time because we really haven't had to do this before. And then, block three, setting, split Windows H is the standard agent spawn. Split your current windows horizontally so you can spin up new panes for another agent right next to the one that's already running. There's a lot to configure. You have to sit down and do this. And I'll have another video that goes maybe more in detail, but I really wanted to get across the idea that where we live today, we've got to get in there with TMUX. You've got to start thinking about control planes and how we can work together. So as we kind of look towards there, The question I get most: what happens when a machine reboots? Right? Because we already talked about survivability, but on a full system restart, TMUX servers die just like everything else. So there are some plugins to help with that. TMUX Resurrect, which gives you a manual save and restore for your full layout. Remember, you can have config files. You press a key binding, it captures every session. It knows what each directory, it remembers that. When you restart, you press another key bind, it brings it back to life. It saves your environment every 15 minutes in the background. So even if your machine crashes unexpectedly, you got a restore point that's, 15 minutes old? Again, control plane, configurability, ability to survive. You are just a pane of glass. All these are managed through TMUX plugin manager, context layouts with lots of different layouts. It's up to you. So, persistence in an impermanent world. Because this is the architectural lesson that we're talking about. Look at the image here. You got a desk, a monitor, TMUX is running. The architect pane, server, editor, logs, you're looking at it all. And then you've got an empty chair, the human's gone, the machine's still executing, right? It doesn't need us, but we can come in as the orchestrator anytime. That's the future of software development that we're looking at, guys. This is not going to go, there is no genie going back in the bottle here. The transition to agentic workflows doesn't replace the terminal, it reinforces it. TMUX is the only environment capable of handling this that I know of today. And you set the intent, you configure the agent, you define the guardrails, and then you step away. And just let the work happen. This is the canvas of the future. So, AI development workflow has shifted from synchronous chats to asynchronous swarms. What happens in the shift? A lot of volatility. Your processes need to survive network drops, system freezes, full reboots. TMUX solves that through client-server decoupling, pane isolation, plugin-based persistence. So, if you want to be cutting edge and you want to build AI agents and you're not running TMUX today, today's the day to start. I started 3 days ago. Install it, configure it, and start thinking. Hey, get started today. Comment below what your thoughts are on this. If you have any more questions, and maybe I'll do a full video on this. If this was useful to you, and you made it this far, hey, hit the like and subscribe button. Drop a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. I really appreciate this and just here to share my knowledge. This is Nick with NPinTech.